This is Primitive Outfitting, and you are listening to the Gritty Bowman.
Chicken. Wow, wow.
Wow.
Nice.
And I'm not standing on my high horse saying I shoot a self bow, because there's no way in hell I'm shooting a self bow. When I say that, I mean that in a good Christian way.
As far as Cecil goes with me, I mean, I could really give a crap about that lion too much.
And all I was looking at was the tip of Aaron's arrow. And it was like this and this, and then it was kind of shaking, and then it went boom, solid like a rock. And I'm like, oh.
He's like, I got to know if you hit anything or not. You never really show excitement, because I don't. I'm kind of always mellow. And this thing, ready to jerk a tear. I was running around like an idiot. Woo! You know, if you ever talk to anybody from Africa, they're all about hunting lions because they eat people. Yeah. The compound, I have total confidence. With this thing, I'm like, yeah, maybe. But the way that America works, we're so soft, like softer than baby. All of us, basically.
The shooting errors, I'm going to call it Matrix effect. I panicked.
I remember the first shot going, him turning and hearing Aaron rack another shell in, and the bear's just coming. And
how close are you to Aaron right now?
I'm standing right beside him.
Like a foot, 2 feet away?
Yeah. I mean, I could put my arm on his shoulder. And, you know, I can remember seeing the smoke come out of his nose and hearing him. And, I mean, he is just full steam ahead.
All right, folks, welcome to the Gritty Bowman podcast. We are here in the illustrious accommodations provided by Primitive Outfitting. Our good friend Jeff Lander, also known as the Primitive Bear Hunter, Jeff Lander. And we are, I'm here with Ben Jackson.
Hello.
And Ben helped me kill my mule deer last year, ran the camera and all that kind of stuff, and that was a good time. And you joined us again for one day of moose hunting.
One day. I walked up and was over.
Yeah. So
I missed the nasty weather before that, so that was good on my behalf.
And we're here with Clay Reinertz. Say it again.
Reinertz.
See, it's just, why can't it just be simple like call or, Jackson?
Yep.
So say it again.
Reinertz.
So, and Clay, if you can't tell, is from Texas. And I wanted to have Clay on because, well, Clay shot a grizzly bear with his bow yesterday.
Sure did.
That's 17 yards.
Yeah, it was pretty hair-raising.
So I wanted to get your story on that. Before we do that, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm an avid hunter, obviously. I've been bow hunting probably since 7th grade.
Yeah.
I still love to do rifle hunting and shooting guns, but when I trophy hunt, I bow hunt. I think this is my third trip to this camp. I was able to go, I don't know, it was probably 5-6 years ago now. Was fortunate enough to pick up a cancellation hunt to do a grizzly moose, and Jeff and I sat on the burn all week and didn't see any grizzly. Well, we saw a few, but couldn't make a move, and then I was able to get a moose that trip, so now I'm back. I'm from New Braunfels, Texas. I've got a pretty large family. I'm a contractor there, and my family's real supportive of my hunting, thank goodness. And I've got a bunch of young kids that will hopefully raise up and they'll enjoy it as well when they get bigger.
Yeah, you definitely are straight up Texan. There's no doubt when you walk into camp, you can feel it.
That's a compliment.
That's right. He's big. And the big part.
Yeah. Clay's not a small man. So you come in and why grizzly bear?
Well, it was kind of another good opportunity. It was kind of a cancellation. I think 3 weeks ago is when I found out that I could come up here. And so, which is kind of cool because I didn't have this agonizing wait to prepare for it and come up, but I had to get all my crap in order real quick. And, they're going to shut down grizz hunting here November 20th. And the fact that I had such a good opportunity, my wife gave me her blessing, and not going to be able to hunt them anymore. Just didn't feel like I could pass it up.
Yeah.
So same deal. Came up here hunting grizz and moose, but my main focus was going to be grizzly bear.
Yeah.
And
you got here just a couple of days after Aaron and I showed up.
correct.
Aaron Snyder and I. So we've been chasing moose while you've been out chasing grizzly bear, and we actually got charged by a grizzly.
Yeah, the morning or the day before, I guess I showed
Yeah.
up. That was
Yeah.
a cool video.
So that was intense, and we're like, well, we saw a grizzly bear, so they're out there running around.
Yep.
And so so basically you get up here and you're trying to get a grizzly, and so tell us a little bit about what was going through your mind as the days were progressing.
Well, yeah, we've had horrible weather. I mean, I'd kind of come up here thinking might even actually go up the mountain and camp out for a day or two and really get to see the country. And man, it's been nonstop rain, snow, sleet, a little bit of hail, then back to rain. And it's just been that way the whole time. And it's kind of shut the animals down early, and did not see anything. Had a pretty decent snow, so we were at least able to go out and start searching for tracks. Saw quite a few grizzly tracks, so we at least had an area we knew to go look. But
Snow does help. I mean, it lets you know, okay, there's a grizzly active, and he was here within the last 3 hours or 6 hours, depending on when the snow came down and all of that.
correct.
Same with the moose. I mean, it really did help go, oh, that's a big bull track,
Yeah.
and that's brand new. We know one was just here.
At least you know you're in the right area and not
Yep.
wasting your time.
Gives you the confidence to get out and start glassing if you're in an area where you can glass, because we're in British Columbia, folks, and it is thick here, except for a few areas like this burn area and a couple other spots where, you know, there's been a forest fire, and a lot of that is visible. And you can actually, which is basically how we got on Aaron's moose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's one of the only areas.
where I shot
by.
my moose, it was thicker than dog's hair, and you know, getting in there, I mean, it was just, you can't see very far,
No.
and you're trying to hunt a grizzly like that. It's tough, dude. Especially, it's so cold and wet. It's that in between temp where you get wet. It just leaks in your collar or your sleeve or whatever, and it slowly over the day, you just get a little wet. But it's so cold that it, just on the edge where it snows a little, and then it rains a little, and it snows a little, and it's a miserable in between temperature.
Yeah, it really is. Then you have to move and start sweating, and then get cold again.
So tell us about this, the actual grizzly deal, because this is one hairy deal, man. This is an awesome story.
Yeah, so I haven't seen moose, bear. I have not seen any animal. I've seen tracks, I've seen sign and stuff, but except for the dead ones y'all killed, I hadn't seen anything moving around the mountain. So a little discouraged, but I mean that's hunting, right? So
Right.
at least I'm out there, and
All it takes is one.
it does.
One beautiful, perfect storm moment, and everything comes together. It can be the crappiest thing for days on end, but it just takes one thing to change.
Turns it all around. So yeah, we went up to the burn, and there's been some snow, so we were able to locate some tracks. And
who's we?
Oh, me and the guide Aaron Evans, and and that's a place you can actually glass and see some distance.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as the rain kind of slowed down, we would throw up the spotting scope.
Let me see. Turn this a little there.
Gotcha. We would be able to throw up the spotting scope and kind of actually get a clear view of the side of the mountain. And we located a bear, I'd say 2/3 of the way up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was raining enough that we couldn't confirm. We were like, that looks like a hump on his back. But then it would turn to the side and be like, maybe that's a black bear. And
There's a lot of black bears.
Yeah, you just don't know. And you know that it's going to be treacherous getting there. And it's like, man, do we make the decision to go all in?
And there's a big river between you
Right.
and the other side of a canyon where you're seeing this bear.
Which the day before, y'all were actually able to cross, and then
Yeah, we were in a different area, but same thing. it was deep, but this, at least when we showed up, the snow was sticking and it was cold. And you can see in Aaron's video, it's snowing still. But as we were cleaning out the bull and breaking him down, the snow started coming down hard. And then, or the rain, I mean, and then it started melting. And I was thinking, man, this river's already swollen. If it melts like this for another day or two, it's going to be neck deep, from knee deep to neck deep.
Yeah, it was swift and impassable. And so we knew that we would have to drive down the road to cross the bridge to get on the other side, which meant a 2-mile hike back to.
Unless you had our boats with you.
That would have
then you could have
been nice. But you had been quick. You'd have been going to the
You still would have been 2 miles downriver.
Yeah, no joke. But, it was my second to the last day. This was yesterday. Mm-hmm. And, we realized, hey, bird in the hands. So we decided we were going to go ahead and make a move.
So you go upriver to cross the bridge, bridge on foot, or?
No, we drove up to cross the bridge, parked on the side of the road, and then started our 2 mile.
And you had to hike 2 miles all the way back to where you saw it because you had no other way to cross.
Right. And it was
even with waders, because we brought waders as well, where you could throw those on, wade across, and get to the other side. The river between the day we went and you went completely changed between a couple days, and yeah, it's night and day trying to cross, given your how deep that is.
It'd be different for you and him, though.
I'm telling you, that's why I like.
He's quite a bit bigger than you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like those Watermaster boats, or a packable raft of some kind, because, not to plug these guys, but dude, having that in the back of your truck, and it doesn't matter whether you're in BC, you're in Oregon, you're in Idaho. There's so many times where I didn't realize how useful it would be to have a little inflatable boat.
Sure.
Now it's like I see something across, and most guys are like, dude, there's a river between us. Plus, to get across, now I've got to go way up here and around, and dude, with a boat, you're 10 minutes, it's inflated, you're across to the other side, and you're on it.
Well, and the big thing is having to do it the other way. You leave the animal for so long with no eyes on it.
Yep.
You don't know if it's going to be there when you get back. So
there's that, and time. Mm-hmm. That's an extra 2 miles you guys had to walk.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't have to if you just floated across.
No doubt. And that was kind of the wild thing too. I didn't really even think about this, but as we're walking on the other side of the river, everything's melting down the mountain. Mm-hmm. And so you get these big, shallow, 3 to 4, sometimes 5, 6 inch deep, just kind of rushing rivers in their own right. Mm-hmm. As you're going down, and there's snow still, so it's slippery, and you're trying to keep your feet and trying to not get too wet and not get too hot and sweaty. And while we're doing this, it starts raining, or it starts off with the rain. Then it changes to hail for a little bit, then back to rain. Then we started getting snow. Then the snow got real fat. And, it was just constant.
That's what we've been experiencing
every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always something that was going to get you more wet, just
right.
getting you from.
Well, that's the thing is the one thing, if it's coming down and it's 40 or 60 degrees or something, and you're relatively warm, mm-hmm. even though the rain, but you're right on the edge, like you said, between it's raining and now it's snowing, and now it's raining and now it's snowing. It's just so freaking cold and wet together. It just sucks. Yeah. So you were telling us you're coming down, you hike in, you're slipping all over the place because it's just gnarly. Mm-hmm. But so, you were freezing when you showed up in camp yesterday. You were like a popsicle.
Yeah, when I left home, it was 90 degrees, so it was a pretty big
when you left
temperature
Texas.
swing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We hiked up to where we had seen the bear, and by then I sweat a lot anyway, so I was pretty warm, and I was comfortable. But then we decided that. We get up there and it's snowing pretty good now, and we can't see a whole lot, but we can't see the bear, but we can see his tracks all around this area.
And so now you've got a cold sweat. You told me you were completely drenched underneath because of the sweating, because of the hiking.
we knew the bear was in the area, and so we, all that work, we're gonna sit still and wait. So we parked ourselves beneath a spruce, and that's when the cold started to set in. And you're sitting in the snow, so that's cold now, and it got to be
damp under your dry clothes. Under your waterproof clothes, and
but so much sweat by that point. I was wet on both ends, and it got.
Yeah, we talked about it. Probably would have been better to before you started the hike,
taking
those layers off. Really utilizing your layers.
It would have been smart.
It's a pain in the butt.
Well, and I couldn't have done it because I didn't bring any dry bag. I should have had a dry bag in my pack. I just, I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't fully prepared.
And Aaron Evans, your guide, he has one speed, and it's like half running.
Yeah.
It's so it's one thing if you're dressed to the nines with it's multiple layers, and you're just hiking, and you stop, and you're like, okay, I'm starting to sweat. I need to slow down. Aaron doesn't have a slow down.
No.
So you're sprinting those 2 miles. Yeah. By the time you get there, you're going to be drenched. You have 2 options. You could take it slower to get there so you don't get all wet underneath, or you could shed those layers before you start and then put them back on when you arrive. But either way, it's kind of a pain, and you're under a clock right now because you're trying to kill a bear. And it's like you don't know that when you get there, you end up having to wait 2 hours, roughly. But you didn't know when you get there that you're not going to just come over the ridge and you're going to see it and shoot it.
Absolutely.
That's how it was with Aaron's moose, pretty much. You don't know. So you're going where it's at. And so you're gambling sometimes, you get all sweaty and wet and cold in those conditions, but you're like, I'm on the finish line. But you weren't.
Yeah. Well, and the snow continually got heavier. So we thought we'd at least have more visibility when we got up there and could really glass and stuff. And so we were kind of at a no-win. We weren't going to go back. And, the visibility was so limited. I mean, it was literally probably a 20-yard sight window where you could see. And so.
Just white it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to sit tight. And we sat, a couple hours, and we both started shaking. And I could tell, it's one of those deals where it's kind of the macho deal. No. Neither one of us wanted to say, let's go first. We want to be the first one to do that.
Yeah.
But
You'll die first.
Yeah. I think Eric could tell how bad I started shaking. So, and he had enough too. So he's like, well, it's time. Let's get up and we can at least move
creep
around
in a little closer
and see what we see.
Start wandering around, basically.
Exactly. And so we get up, and he had handed me his rifle, took my bow, and he said, we might jump them because the visibility is so poor.
Yeah.
Take the rifle, be ready. I'm like, all right. So we get up and we start walking, and I don't think we had made it 5 yards. And through the snow, it was kind of like a movie. I'd see this silhouette of a bear, and it was like, wow. And I started to take the scope cover off, and, I just thought to myself, I turned to Aaron and I said, here, take the rifle, give me that bow. And as we're doing that, making that movement, the bears, noticed some movement. And so he stands up on his hind legs. I mean, just through the snow, bear,
through the whiteout, you see this big.
It's crazy. I mean, I couldn't have scripted it out better. And so when he stood up, Aaron goes, shoot. And I was going to wait until he went back down to broadside because I've done plenty of 3D tournaments and, when off windage wise, one way or the other, you got a bad, pissed off wounded grizzly. And I didn't want that to happen. But when he said that, I'm like, yeah, I mean,
he's standing up.
Yeah.
You could see his silhouette.
Exactly.
You could kind of shoot him like a human.
And didn't he? What was he saying? Is under 20?
Yeah, that's all. He goes, he's under 20, and I had no idea. I mean, I had no depth perception.
Yeah, you're having a hard time seeing how far away it was and kind of guessing the size. Plus, you don't know, is this a 9-foot grizzly?
Right.
7 foot, right? And there's a big difference when you're looking at like a monstrous critter, it seems closer than it really is. And when you're looking at a small one, it seems farther than it really is.
Yeah, and we had there's no time to study. I mean, besides what we had barely, seen them from afar. So, anyways, he said shoot them, and so everything started to go into slow motion. And I remember trying to get my release on my string, and that seemed to take forever. Finally got that done, and I draw back, and I'm kind of panicking now, thinking he's not going to stand up for much longer. And I draw back, and literally just see bear in my sight picture, pins, and I feel like I'm taking enough time to acquire a good sight picture, but I didn't waste any time either.
Yeah.
And so I shoot, and I watch the arrow go, and I see it hit a little low, right below his shoulder line. So I know it, and it's center, so that's good. My windows is good, but my elevation was a little poor. And Aaron, it was snowing so bad he never saw, and I had a light of knock, and he never saw where the shot went. But I saw where it entered. He dropped. I saw the arrow flying out past him. And
complete pass through.
Yeah, complete pass through. And when he hit all fours, I just turned to Aaron and I said, shoot him. I don't want to be tracking this bear. I want to get done with this.
No
so,
doubt.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, it's you want to do this bow kill and everything, and here you are at this moment, but at the same time, you don't want to be tracking a wounded grizzly. That's not comforting. Plus, you're cold to the bone, and you've been pushing it all for nearly a week in this kind of crappy conditions. Well, Aaron was feeling that about his moose.
Yeah.
He was ready to shoot anything that had a legal antler on it, and he was going to drop it,
Yeah.
And it just so happened a large one. He was fortunate to run into a large one before he ran into a small one, because otherwise, he was just done. And I think you get that way because that weather and that temperature and the cold, it wears you down. So you tell Aaron Evans to just finish him.
When he did, I was like, just go ahead and shoot him. And he threw his scope up, and he couldn't see, anything but really a ball of fur either. And so he shoots and ends up just hitting him high, kind of a flesh wound on top of the shoulder, which we come to solve.
And after you hit him with the arrow, was he walking uphill away from you, or what did he do?
No, he just he dropped and kind of turned uphill, but he really didn't take any steps. It was
so he just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, he really he knew that there was something that just caused him a little bit of pain, but he really wouldn't. It was bad visibility, and I'm sure it was just as bad for him. And so he was kind of acted confused.
Yeah.
But when that shot hit him, then he had a cue where we were. Yeah, the bullet, and it hit him in the shoulder, and he turned, faced us directly, put his nose down, and came at a full sprint. And
this is about from 20 yards.
Yeah, it was probably 25 when he started running, and I remember the first shot going, him turning and hearing Aaron rack another shell in, and the bear's just coming. And
how close are you to Aaron right now?
I'm standing right beside him.
Like a foot, 2 feet away?
Yeah. I could put my arm on his shoulder. And, I can remember seeing the smoke come out of his nose and hearing him, and he is just full steam ahead. But it was a weird experience because everything was, like I said, slow motion, but it was real calming. I felt I was on the same page mentally with Aaron as far as him shooting. I was like, wait for it, thinking in my head. And when I, in my head, go, all right, shoot, he shot. And at that point, the bear was 6 yards from us, full gallop, and that shot just cratered him. And he rolled forward and then rolled downhill. And then it was just...
He rolled past you?
No, he didn't roll quite to us. He rolled forward, but he was coming at a downslope. So he did a forward roll, which probably brought him within 4 yards of us, and then he started to roll down.
And how did that feel? When you saw him crater?
It was unreal. You breathe a sigh of relief, but my focus wasn't off on him because I didn't know if he was going to roll and then get back up.
Yeah.
And make one last charge.
You don't know if he just got hit in the leg or if he got hit in the chest or the head or whatever. You don't know yet.
Exactly.
But still, it had to be somewhat of a relief because I know when that bear was charging us, if it had cratered at one point at 12 yards, I'd have been like, I know what I felt like when it turned and ran the other way.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a relief because it could have ended badly one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, that's
if you had to shoot it, that's bad. And to live, or if it something like a gun jammed or you miss it, and that's a thing that Aaron has to decide when he's got the gun up like that. Do I take a shot at 20, 15? How close do you wait for that bear to get to you before you
Yeah, we talked about it because, you don't. It wasn't until last night, and I, lying in my sleeping bag, and I started kind of playing stuff through and thinking, what if this would happen? But honestly, being right beside him, and when it all happened, it was kind of one of those deals where you have one shot, and so you just don't take it until you are just dead certain
you won't miss.
Right. And I think that's why we were on the same page, like I said, mentally, because I didn't feel it until he was that close. But I still felt like when he pulled the shot, I felt like we still had time to sidestep, which I know is foolish. And Darren's like, no, it wouldn't have happened. He would have.
It would just buy you a couple seconds, even if you got by him.
Yeah, he would have sputtered. But yeah, it was an awesome experience. I'm glad it turned out well, but I'm also really glad that it happened because, I mean, who gets to say that they went through something like that?
Yeah. No, I mean, after getting charged this week, there's it's an intense feeling to have a grizzly bear come at you full tilt with an intention to maim you. Like, this bear wasn't slowing down at all. It didn't look like it was, for Aaron and I, it did not look like it was going to stop. And then even when Aaron Evans shot at him at his feet, the bear took another 5 yards to us.
Watching that video, that's what would have rattled me, is that bear not turning and running after.
Well, and then it stopped, and it just gave you the look, man. It was like, yeah, you want this? I'll bring it, and you're like sitting there. And then when he hesitates just for a second, and then he takes 2 steps forward, I'm like, I expected the gun to go off then. Yeah. I really did. I thought, okay, he's hit whatever, like, hey, go away, like, point there is in a line in the sand, and it's probably different for everybody.
Right.
That was too close for me. Those next 2 steps were a bullet to the head. I mean, just like, it's over. Like, that's too far. And Aaron waited just a second longer, and then he turned and ran away.
I have to agree. I'm watching the video. I would have been the same way. And I think in a lot of ways that was probably a more hair-raising experience because you had so much time to kind of process everything. Mm-hmm. With me,
you're in the snow. And yours had been wounded, and he had made a choice. Been shot with an arrow, shot with a bullet, grazed. And he made a choice. I can run away or I can attack. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a bluff.
No, it wasn't. It was... No doubt if that bullet wouldn't have connected or not, it stopped him the way it did, we would have had a fight on our hands.
Yeah.
It would have not been pretty. And, I mean, it was.
But he hit it. Yeah.
It all turned out.
Yeah. So you guys, he goes down. How long did you could tell he was done?
Yeah, we watched him for a little bit, and he wasn't moving anymore. And we had dropped back about 200 yards down the hill, and we decided, let's just go get our backpacks, get our gear first. Let's just kind of let everything calm down. And it was funny. That's when the shaking really started, the cold and all the nerves set in. And it was a welcome task to be able to skin the bear because that really warmed us up. But, yeah, it was kind of I don't think I've processed all of it yet. It's going to take me a few days to kind of relive
that one for a long time.
Oh, you bet.
Well, how's it feel to get that close and have a grizzly encounter like that?
Man, it's, top 3 hunting experiences ever. Probably number 1 for sure.
Yeah.
And to be able to shoot a grizzly with a bow is, a dream come true.
Especially spot and stalk and stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people underestimate the difficulty of hunting a grizzly bear.
No, they're brilliant animals.
And then the danger of it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, no, especially here, these bears are these grizzlies out here. They're hunting meat. And
Well, especially right now because everything else is gone. All their food sources are gone. All their berries, all that kind of stuff.
they're not hibernating yet. It's cold.
No, it's the last effort. So they're cruising, making miles.
Yep. I don't know what the success rate is on a spot and stock grizzly hunt, but I imagine, especially with a bow, it's very low. So, man, talk about I'm so happy for you, dude.
Oh,
I
thank
was
you.
just like, I was hoping you'd get it done. I mean, you're just a good dude. You're just a nice guy. It's been fun having you in camp, and then
I
to
appreciate
see
it.
you be successful like that, it was awesome.
Yeah, it happens quick too. You got to stay in the game until the very end because, man, it turns around real quick.
That bear is pretty too. Like,
Yeah, he had a beautiful coat. He's not the biggest bear in the world, which I really could care less.
right.
But he does have a beautiful. He's got like little blonde tips all over.
Yep.
Big head on him, and made really awesome pictures being up there in the snow.
Yeah, the pictures are awesome.
Yeah, so it's I couldn't have written it better.
So tell us about the pack out.
Yeah, man. So I sweat a whole bunch, and I hadn't been
Drinking
replenishing
water.
my water.
Yeah.
And it's probably been that way for the last couple of days, but I really hadn't been too strenuous.
I was going to say, it happens a lot to people when it's cold. They forget to drink or they don't drink. And drinking is just a huge part of staying warm, too.
Yeah, and I didn't. And so we get the grizz skinned out, put into the pack, and we got 2 mile pack back, and it's still slippery and, kind of side hilling it. And man, I started to cramp up, and it just got worse and worse. And, we stopped at a stream to get a drink of water, and almost pushed me into the stream because I started cramping up in my hands.
You didn't want to take your pack off.
I was not taking it off because it was,
so
I
hard
was
to get on.
I was at that point where I couldn't straighten my leg completely straight or bend it because it was going to cramp either way. And that was a long pack out. And then, finally you're sweating so much by then. And then you get to sitting and, by the time I got back to camp, I was a popsicle.
Yeah.
With a big smile on your face.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
All worth it.
Happy popsicle for sure. That was,
Oh, dang, man. Yeah, well, what are you going to do with the bear?
I'm going to get a rug made out of them. Wife and I had a long discussion prior to this hunt, and she really didn't want me to get a life-size mount. And I said, well, if it's big, I will. But if it's not, I'll,
Yeah.
heed your wishes.
It's
So
pretty.
I'll bleach the skull, do a rug, and it'll be.
He's a pretty bear. For sure.
What do you think, what has this experience done for you? Like, does it change you in any way?
Yeah, it's I'm still kind of meditating and contemplating that, but I am a guy of faith, and it's honestly, just kind of assured me that, what, your days are already numbered. Yours, don't be foolish with them, but don't live in fear, And honestly, it just kind of solidified that for me because just during that whole hair-raising moment, I had peace. I wasn't freaked out, and looking back on it and kind of reflecting of how dangerous it actually was. It tells me something. It was something beyond, my personal power to stay calm under that kind of pressure. But it was, it just makes me love the outdoors even that much more too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the conditions here this week have been, hunting conditions have been pretty harsh. And this isn't the sort of place where in British Columbia like this late season where you see just animals running all over the place. Mm-hmm. So you've got to keep your head up and just kind of keep grinding, even though you're not seeing anything day after day, and you get cold and wet, and then pulling all day. You went out a couple of times and did these all day stints where you just kind of brought a little mountain house meal with you, went out in the woods and just stuck it out from morning till dark
without seeing anything. But if we would have come back to camp, I'd been like, "Well, did we miss because we left the woods?"
Yep.
But this is one of the rare hunts that I've been on where I guess collectively we've seen 4 animals and 3 of them were killed.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool. It is cool. Yeah, I feel fortunate. I mean, it's been an amazing experience being here, and it's been great to see everybody tag out. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pretty good group of people too. Everyone's pretty positive group, and yeah, it's been a fun.
Yeah, willing to
fun
work
week.
for it.
Yeah.
Willing to. You know, it's funny when we brought Aaron's moose out of the woods. We had just made it back to the road, and there were some Canadian folks
Yeah.
there,
The Newfies.
the Newfies, driving up and down the roads, and they do a lot of party hunting with, big groups of guys, and they're out there hunting moose a lot, and they pull up and they're like, "Where'd you shoot the moose?" Well, I can't understand them, so I just
Yeah, they all sound like
translated.
Boomer.
yeah. So he's like, where'd you shoot him and stuff? And we were like, well, over there. And they're like, huh? Like right there? And we're like, no, like over there. They said, across the river over there? We're like, oh, yeah. And way up on top of the other side. And they're like, what?
Why would you do that?
What? You where? They didn't believe us that we had hiked over there, across the river, hiked over, gone way up to the top of the opposite mountain where we'd seen this. I think a lot of people will glass up a critter like that from where we're at, and they're just,
that ain't
that's
happening.
great. He's over there, but I'm not getting it. And really, when you take it one bite, one piece at a time, it's very doable. These things, it's not like it was impossible. So, but I think that's the difference. Where Aaron and I shot my bull, same thing. We went back, we went deep, a couple of miles. We hiked in the first time 3 miles, and in the dark. And I think that is just something a lot of people don't do.
Yeah, I think the key to what you said was you just take it a bite at a time. You don't think of the whole big picture, because then you kind of just you get
Talk
in your
yourself
own
out
head.
of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, before you know it, you're 3 miles in and you're in a place where nobody else is hunting, so you don't have any pressure.
So this isn't your first time up here, and so one of the other questions I have for you, looking at it from someone from Texas and where you're from and growing up, and you get out here in this wilderness space, I mean, it's pretty rugged, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
this is like life and death country.
It is. It's the place where you could really get lost. South Texas, if you can just find a high enough spot, you can see for miles because all the brush is so short. So, no, this is the kind of stuff that I grew up seeing in movies and watching on the hunting channel, thinking that's where I want to go hunt.
Yeah.
Because it's such an adventure. And I mean, just such a variety of wildlife and beautiful out here. And I love cold weather. I don't know if I like cold wet, but it's an opportunity for me to experience all of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty neat. You were here in the spring when I was here with your dad, and so that was pretty neat to be able to hunt with him. And then you said you're coming back with your son.
Yeah, I'm bringing my
this
son.
spring.
That'll be his 13th birthday present.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm doing it backwards. I mean, I've been black bear hunting several times, and I didn't kill the black bear yet, but I got my Grizz. So
A lot of people would trade you.
yeah, no, I wouldn't trade it, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring my son up here in the spring and hopefully get him a black bear quick, and then I can maybe go bow hunt for a black bear and
Oh, for
fill
sure.
that tag as well.
Yeah. Very cool. Any closing thoughts you want to throw in here, Ben Jackson?
No, like I said before, it's been a fun week. Kind of showed up on a good day, and it was awesome seeing Clay again after, we had a fun spring hunt, and to see you guys drive in yesterday, you and Aaron, with that smile on your face was pretty cool for sure. No, it's just been a fun week like always at Primitive Outfitting.
Yeah. Yeah. Clay, anything else?
It's been a privilege to hunt with y'all and get to hear your stories and learn about new, cool new gear. And, man, that's the other part of hunting to me is just, the camaraderie and the people that you share it with. So it's been a fun week, and I appreciate, y'all taking part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. It's always good when you get good people joining you in camp, because it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you end up with a real wanker in camp and you're just
Right.
like tolerating the person, but you're like, but no, we've been able to have our moose steaks each night. Now that we put a couple moose down, and that's been like last night's steak.
That was as good as it
Some of
gets.
the best I've ever
Yeah.
had in my life.
Yeah, you're coming from a big beef steak guy, and I don't know if I've had better than that moose.
It
That
just
was-
melted
it
in your
was so
mouth.
good.
It was good. Cooked it up on the Traeger. Aaron put some concoction together for marinade and everything, but it was money. It was so good. So, no, it's been great. I want to thank you for coming on the podcast too, and good luck, man.
Thank
good
you.
luck with your
Appreciate it.
son in the future, and don't get ate.
Yeah, do my best.
All right, man. Stay gritty. Friends, hunters, outdoorsmen, lend me your ears. Please take this moment to listen to this excerpt from the Gritty Bowman film, Back to Traditions. Despite our ever-changing, ever-indignant world with its growing ignorance of and indifference to the ways of the wild, I remain a predator, pitying those who revel in artificiality and synthetic success while regarding me and my kind as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood. I stalk a real world of dark wood and tall grass stirred by a restless wind blowing across sunlit water and beneath star-strewn sky. And on those occasions when I choose to kill, to claim some small part of nature's bounty for my own, I do so by choice, quickly, with the learned efficiency of a skilled hunter. Further, in my heart and mind, I know the truth and make no apologies for my actions or my place and time. Others around me may opt to eat only plants, nuts, and fruits. Still others may employ faceless strangers to procure their meats, their leather, their feathers, and all those niceties and necessities of life. Such is their right, of course, and I wish them well. All I ask in return is no one begrudge me, and all of us who may answer the primordial stirrings within our hunter souls, my right to do some of these things myself. What you just heard is a quote from M.R. James. We truly live in a world that is largely ignorant and indifferent to the ways of the wild. And although some regard us as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood, we have the opportunity to change the way these people view the hunter and the hunt. We can share our experiences and nature's bounty with those who employ these faceless strangers. And by so doing, we make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for the wild animals in the wild places we care so deeply about. Never stop sharing your passion for hunting and the outdoors. Our wild animals and our wild places depend on it.
This is Ty Stubblefield, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowman.
Gritty Bowman.